is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com, and welcome to our weekly YouTube live streams where we really break down what's working, no fluff, in the app space today to help you make more money and more downloads. And today I've got a phenomenal guest who's got a super app that's going to help you. It's a fintech app. Let me read the full description. Super.com, great domain name, is a fintech and e-commerce company that offers an app that enables consumers to earn, save, and build credit. The company's trusted by over 7 million customers, helping them save over $200 million to date. We can get some updated numbers. And they're backed by Steph Curry. Yo, I'm in the Bay Area, so I'm pretty excited about that. But without further ado, we're going to get into some of the things we'll be talking about. Why you should eat your own dog food, maybe use your own app, and then why it might be better to send people to the website versus the app itself. So without further ado, let's bring in Radhika. It's 2 billion. I didn't get my team to change everything, so it's 2 billion now.
We can say that, and that's good enough.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I've got the website pulled up as well. But talk to me a little. Did I do a good job explaining super.com?
You did a fantastic job explaining super.com. What I'm most excited about the product, other than the company's size and scale, is the idea that we really work to help every American earn money, save money, and build credit. And we do it in a way that is meant to be fun and meant to help you experience life and get the most out of it.
Yeah, I like it. And
I mean, as you can see from our wonderful website.
Beautiful website. And I know I've talked to a lot of different people from other countries and stuff, and they're like, the idea of a super app is pretty popular in other countries, just maybe not in the US. And so a super app really is like an all-in-one solution to everything.
I am clearly going to put my computer on mute now. So you win some, you lose some. Yeah, that's actually really true. So in the US, the idea of a super app hasn't really taken off the way it has in other countries. And in fact, the term super app is not even really a consumer term. It's very much an industry term. But I gotta give it to the co-founder and CEO of our company. His name is Hussein Faisal, and he has this amazing Medium post that basically talks about his prediction that in the US, super apps will take off, but they'll be theme-based. And he goes through in his blog posts 6 core principles of how a theme-based super app might come to life. But I really do believe in his vision that super.com is building this theme-based super app that's all about financial inclusion and helping you earn, save, and build credit.
Yeah. And I know one of the things we want to talk about was why you should probably test sending users to your website versus just sending them straight to the app.
Yeah, you should probably do that. And in fact, that's actually generally accepted practice in almost every company I've ever worked at. The one exception I would say is Pfizer, where I had the opportunity to be an ADHD medication brand manager, and you don't test the medicine, but you test all of the wraparound services around the medicine. So whether it is a technology company or whether it is a physical product company, in every best-in-class scenario that I can imagine, as the folks making the product, marketing the product on the front lines of an operation team, understanding what it's like to use the product end to end is so critical. And we do that at super.com in 3 very distinct ways. Number 1, we have a SWAT team whose job is focused on really understanding that end-to-end customer experience. We call them a mission aligned team, and it's managed cross-functionally by marketing, product, and operations. And that team is continually using the product, which we call dog fooding, mystery shopping the product in different ways, and identifying improvement opportunities across all 3 functions, because all 3 functions really touch the customer and their experience. And they're importantly also, as part of this mission aligned team or SWAT team, another of their goals is to really figure out, how do we measure various points throughout the customer experience and the end-to-end experience? How do we benchmark where we should be? And then how do we make sure we're meeting or exceeding benchmarks? So that's one way we do this really well. We have a mission aligned team or a SWAT team that's really focused on this. A second thing we do is we have a really great research function. So we have both market research and user research. And then in addition, we take the data that comes out of those two functions and we marry it with existing customer data because we have a great data analytics team. And we use that data to really try to parse through ways that we can understand how to improve our product, whether it's the marketing portion, whether it's the operations portion, or whether it's the digital product itself. And then the last thing I'll say that we do, and this is a lovely portion of our website, the last thing I'll say that we do is once a year, we take our whole company's time. We've got 270 folks in the company, so we take a lot of people's time. And that, by the way, we value each person's every minute because we know how precious it is, but we take their time to do a whole company exercise to better understand who our customers are. Sometimes we do it in person, like we did last year. Sometimes we do it virtually, like we did this year. Yeah. And we take a couple of hours to either help them understand the context in which our products are used. So what is the customer's life really like on a day-to-day basis? Because the reality is the context matters just as much as the product. Or we actually literally go through the act of using our product. And we can talk about either one of those scenarios and how important and impactful that is.
Yeah, no, I mean, talk to me. Let's go on that. And then we'll come back to the website stuff and what do you guys found to be like, driving people. But like, what is it? You would almost assume that people are using the app because you work for the company, but what is the primary goal? Do you guys set off to be like, hey, these are the 3 things we want to really discover? Or is it broad and just say, use the app and let us know what you think?
Yeah, so it's more specific and focused than you might think. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the last 2 kind of whole company exercises we've done. Yeah. The first one we did was last year in person in Las Vegas. So we were all at our whole company offsite. This is like 200 or so folks in Las Vegas. A lot of folks in the company have grown up with various backgrounds. They live in various income situations today, but not every single one of us knows what it's like to be a member of our design target. Our design target tends to be someone with sort of slightly lower than average income in the US market, lower credit score. And, I'll be the first person to admit, I haven't been in that design target in quite a few years, certainly not in any portion of my adult life. I did not struggle to build credit. And so what we wanted to make sure that everyone in the company understood is, well, what is it like to be in that situation? And how is it different from the way some of us, not all of us, might live today? So we took the opportunity to break folks in the company up in small teams. Yep. We gave them paper checks and we said, hey, go to the check casher and cash a check. Walk to the local Walmart. Remember, it's Las Vegas. It was August. It was like 100 degrees. Walk to Walmart, buy groceries for your family of 3, I believe was the assignment. Right. Cash. And just see what that's like. And there were a number of other assignments associated with that. Just see what it's like to live in a way that's slightly different than you might live today. And the importance of that is understanding the context of a customer's life is so critical to understanding how a product does or doesn't, by the way, contribute in a positive way to that person's life. This year, we switched focus and we said, okay, we actually want you to use the product, book a hotel. For some folks, go check into a hotel. Wow. For some folks who are able to use our Super Pay card, which is our charge card, to pay for that. And then go and sort of see what that experience is like. Is the hotel great? Oh, by the way, we gave you a budget constraint, which was sort of around the average budget of many of our customers that are spending on our platform. And we said, hey, go for it. See what that experience is like. Do you like the hotel? What's the check-in experience? What do the sheets look like? All the things you would do when you go check into a hotel yourself. But many of us don't have that same budget constraint. What's so interesting for us from that perspective is you're absolutely right. We use the product ourselves because we work at the company. And by the way, it's objectively good. So it helps us as consumers. But when I use the product, the online travel portion of the product, for example, I book a hotel room. I arrive at the hotel. Once I arrive at the hotel, I know as a person that works in the company that our company doesn't control that part of the experience. So if it doesn't go perfectly, I don't naturally ding my own company for that. I know it's disconnected. I know I don't own that portion of the experience. I know if the sheets aren't clean, that's actually like super.com does not make the hotel sheets. So like we can't control that.
Right.
But for a customer, their perspective is the end-to-end experience. I got it on super.com if they remember who they booked the hotel with. So the perspective is really different. And then if I layer on the perspective of the consumer's life experience at that time, maybe this is my vacation that I'm booking that's nearby because I want to take my kids to a swimming pool. That was, by the way, something we did as kids. Like our vacation was like going somewhere for the weekend that was 5 miles away with a swimming pool. Layering on then the context, which we'd spent some time really learning about before, really helps you understand how the end-to-end product, the marketing of the product, how you become aware of it, the booking process, how you use the digital product, how the operations or the customer service might work. It really gives you the context for what consumers are thinking. And by the way, it helps you surface a bunch of improvement opportunities because we all have a long way to go.
I'm sure you got a lot of feedback from all the users and your employees. How do you go about prioritizing which ones are the most important to tackle?
Yeah. So I'll say a couple things. Number one, as a business, I think we're pretty good at trying to incentivize folks to continually use the product. So to your point earlier, we are all always using various facets of the product, and we have Slack channels to sort of escalate various feedback, pieces of feedback to our operations team or to others. So that's actually like something really nice in the company's DNA that I really appreciate. I will say not every company is so aggressive about that. And I think that's actually really important. Your question, though, was like, how do you prioritize ways to focus when you come out of that? And I'd say a couple of things. Number one, we really think about what can make the most impact, quite frankly. Okay. What are repeat issues we're seeing? Like if somebody is experiencing something firsthand, we essentially have data that helps us understand how often are those experiences coming up in our scaled customer base. So we know, right? Something is a one-off or something is something that happens, I'm making this up, 1% of the time, which is actually a very large volume of folks. So we really want to prioritize based on impact. We want to prioritize based on effort, like what can we do fast to solve problems quickly? And and then I'd say the third thing is what really matters most to consumers. And because we have that robust 2 research teams and internal company data, we're really able to understand that criteria as well. So impact, effort, what matters.
I love it. Do you have an example of something that came out, like a new feature request or something you guys are working on from this exercise?
Well, we just did this most recent exercise where we were using the product in September. Yeah. So there were a lot of pieces of feedback, as you know, that came out of it. And we're going through the process right now of prioritizing, and then we'll move forward. But stay tuned on that one.
I like that. Hey, I want to get back to a few things that the audience has questions. It's $2 billion from in-app purchases, or what's that $2 billion number from?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's $2 billion of transaction on our platform.
Got it. I like that. And then the Arvin says, why do we have to use a super app when we have powerful phones to run a lot of the apps and each of the services are best at what they do, but a super app does everything but not very good?
Well, no, that's a fair question, right? And actually, we asked that exact question in consumer research as we were thinking about adding more and more features and functionality and different products into our app, right? Because we didn't start as a super app. So fair question. I'd say a couple of things. Number one, what we learned from talking to consumers is a lot of them say, yeah, I've got 100 apps on my phone that do exactly these things, but most of them aren't good. I'm so sorry. I should have started with, I live on the 2nd floor of an apartment in New York City, 1 block from a fire station, 1 block from a police station, and 1 block from a hospital. So you might hear some sirens.
You're protected.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So apologies if you can hear some noise. But so we did ask that question in research, as I was mentioning before. And folks said, yeah, I have 100 apps on my phone and they do some of these things, but those individual apps are not good. One of the reasons those individual apps are not good is I don't get enough out of each of them individually for them to essentially, consumers didn't use this language, so this is my language, earn their place on my phone. So that was interesting. The second thing was consumers said, yeah, I have 100 apps I can go to, but I don't want to. I want less, right? Doing everything all in one place is actually something that's valuable to me.
Right.
And the third thing I'll say is, God, I hope that I hope that we're not going to qualify as a product that does a lot of things but doesn't do them well. I can understand why that could be a thing, but we work every day to make sure that's not a thing for our
Yeah.
product. We know we have a long way to go, and we're going to continuously improve, but our goal is to provide real value.
Yeah, I like it. And I like that you have this super app where you can book travel, you have a car that you can use with, but you started with helping people save more money and you started with the niche. And I always feel like that's the mistake that I see most app make because they have this grand vision, but they don't have a focus. And you can always get to that grand vision, but like, the analogy I like to use is like Facebook started at Harvard, Uber was a very like limited black car. That's all they had, and so you started somewhere in the niche a little bit, and then you obviously started building on top of that.
Yeah, and I'd say, the company's 7 years old, right? And for a good portion of that time, the company was a travel company that focused on helping people save money when booking travel. And what I love about the co-founder story and the team story is, when I was interviewing, essentially what they said is, "Hey, we asked our customers why they pay with debit card, right? Because a big majority,
Mm,
and I think it was something like 50% plus, and my 2021 memory is escaping me, but something like that.
yeah.
Big portion of people were paying with debit cards. And essentially what they learned is, oh, this group of folks doesn't have access to credit. Oh, we should go solve that problem. And from there, then there was a moment of, oh, big portion of people actually want to earn money. Right, right. So there's this idea that this company, I think uniquely from others, isn't built from we do this product and we do this thing. It is, we serve this person, this human being, and we are going to do all the things they need from us to
Yeah.
help them earn money, save money, and build credit. So it's built around a person as opposed to built around a particular product vertical.
Well, Arvind has a question. Says, do you think the website landing page matters for a mobile app? And to our earlier topic about sending people to the website versus the app, what do you think? Do you think we need a website?
Well, I was just telling Steve before we went live that I'm so proud of our creative
Looks really
team
good.
and the many partners that we have worked with to build this website. So shout out to them. So I do think it matters because we have folks on our team who did invest time and energy and effort into it because it matters. Here's why. So yes, we're a mobile app, but we are also a company who in some ways is platform agnostic.
Mm,
We know that we have to earn the right to have space on someone's mobile phone, right? Getting someone to download a mobile app is actually like it's a big feat. We're asking permission to be constantly present in the device that's literally always in your hand or in your pocket or in your purse. And the way we want to ask that permission is not by saying download the app first, but it is rather by proving that we provide value to you in some way, shape, or form through whatever platform you want to use, whether it's app or web.
yeah.
So you can access all of our earning opportunities, all of our savings opportunities, the ability to build credit through our pay product on our website. So having that website matters. And by the way, for online travel, it really matters. A lot of folks do book online travel on the website. A lot of folks are accessing our earning and savings opportunities on the website. When folks essentially open up a charge card account, they tend to do that. They tend to download the mobile app pretty quickly. But for other activities, people prefer to use a website in some cases. And we don't want to force you to make a commitment when you're still dating us, for lack of a better way of putting it. We don't want to tell you we must be on your phone first. So we prove value to you by letting you work with us, use our product on the web. And then we essentially through email, through SMS, through ad tiles in the product, then we ask you, once we know we've proven and earned our place on your phone, then we ask you to download the mobile app. So that's a very long way of saying, yes, I think websites matter. By the way, that's why we're super.com and invested in being super.com.
I like it. One of my past guests, I think it was Joyce, but I could be wrong. So she had 99 Walks. She was the founder of 99 Walks, and she said the same thing. Like she was like, "Look, we found that taking users, especially for a product, so Arvidan, or I'm sorry, Aravind, I think it depends on the app, right? Like, and I think I wouldn't me personally, moving forward, like we have seen actually SEO traffic be a good source of downloads for apps. So don't sleep on that. And that might give you, if you have the resources to build that, that might give you the opportunity to leverage SEO traffic to the app users. But she was saying the same exact thing where she was like, look, we want to earn their trust. And it's hard to explain everything in just app form because people
Mhm.
aren't going to read. But when you take them to the app, but you can't explain everything on the website. And that way they can look through all this stuff and get inspiration. They can see all this travel and discover, pay, rewards, all this stuff, and then build that trust, like Radhika said, before actually using the app. And she said, look, we get way more revenues when we send people to the website versus taking them to the app.
Yeah, and I think to that point, this is all about understanding consumer behavior, right?
Yeah.
If you naturally have a product where people tend to use a website as opposed to their phone, i.e., booking travel, some people do that on their phone, some people don't, right? So having the opportunity to offer both, I think, is incredibly important.
Yeah.
If you have a product like a charge card product, which is a fintech product, people naturally gravitate towards having and doing that in an app. Great. I'm glad we offer that as well for that customer. A lot of this is about meeting the customer where they are for what they want to do. Given that we're a super app, we offer all these things they can do. And we want to make sure that for every use case, we have the right platform for that.
What kind of messaging? You said, okay, we take them to the website. Once we have their trust via email, push, all this stuff. Like what type of messaging and what channel has performed the best in terms of taking that web user into an app user?
Yeah. And so I'd say a couple of things. The messaging matters for the intent of the experience the customer is desiring. So for example, if someone booked travel, at the point after they've booked travel and we've said, hey, look how much money you save by booking travel through us, then the next thing the customer wants, they want a booking confirmation. And we can say, hey, manage your travel, manage your booking confirmation easier in the app, right? It's focused on the intent of the customer. If someone has opened our pay card, which is a charge card, which essentially enables you to use it as though you were using another credit card, but it's secured. The idea of managing your money in an app is great messaging, and it makes sense to consumers. That's how they're used to interacting. And across the board, doing this while they're in the digital product typically performs really well. And we're building up our capability to do this really well through email and SMS as well.
I see. Are you using deep linking? What's the technology to take them from like an email to an app? And you want to take them to the right spot too?
That's right. Yep, that's absolutely right. So at the moment, if we're trying to push you to download the app, we're linking you to actually download the app, which becomes most important. If we're asking you to perform an activity in the app, then that's a different link or a different purpose.
Okay. Do you have any favorite technology that you use for that other purpose?
So I just got yesterday a download of every single step it takes to send an email or an SMS, and literally made a spreadsheet for it with, here's the step, here's how we do it, here's the screenshot of how we do it, etc. Here are the challenges, which the point was to try to think through how to improve upon that. And I'd say right now we're in the building phase, right? So less than having a favorite technology, I'm more focused on how do we figure out how to make these channels, which are our own channels, right? We want to own our relationship with our customer. Sure. Most effective from the perspective of enabling us to have the right message for the right customer at the right time. And by the way, to do it in a way that's not super cumbersome for our team. So we're working on it.
I like it. All right. I want to say hi to Ori's here. Give you a little bit of break. Nurex says, thank you, Nurex. Hello, Steve. Bro, always waiting for your live streams as people waiting for new seasons of favorite movies. Always getting helpful ideas and recommendations. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. David's here. Marwan. Mary is here too. And then Damjen. Damjen says, Damjen, I think I'm screwing up all the names. Damjen says, I love the QR code on the website footer. So there you go.
Amazing. Thank you for saying that.
Okay. The audio is going to go. Omer said that his dogs bark every time they hear that bell. So that's for you, Omer. Do that. Miguel says, how do you sleep with all these sirens?
Yeah. So that's a challenge. We talk about that a lot, but that's not solvable because we live here.
Yeah. In terms of when you're coming to this market and you're branding yourself as super.com, you might have to do some education around what the hell is super.com. Like when you have to do so much education, how do you figure out, I don't know, like how do you figure out, yeah, how do you go break into a market when you do have to educate your users?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's like we're not called cheaphotels.com,
Yeah, right.
right? Or like
Right.
earnmoney.com. So I'll say a couple of things. Number one, that's an intentional choice, right? As we were going through, we did rename our company in 2022, so October last year, almost exactly a year ago. And we
Wow.
very intentionally chose a name that evoked the emotion and the feeling we wanted people to have when using our products, and the way we wanted them to feel about themselves, as opposed to the product itself. That also gives us license in the future to expand into other product opportunities or vertical. As I was saying before, the company's built around the customer and how we want them to feel, not around a particular vertical. So that's an intentional choice. But you're right, that intentional choice comes with challenges, and helping people understand what the hell a company called super.com does is a challenge. What's so interesting about being a super app is the most impactful thing we can initially do to help people learn about what we do is meet them where they are. So if
Mm.
they are a customer coming in for travel, we're going to tell you we're a travel company. We have a product called Super Travel, and it helps you save up to 60% on hotels. And here's how you can book really fast. If you are coming in for a cash advance, we're going to tell you, hey, we have a product to help you get up to $200. And here's how you could do that. If you were coming in for earning, et cetera, it's kind of the same thing. So
Mm.
what we really focus on today is driving awareness and usage of the reason or the specific product you are coming to us for. At
Got
the
it.
end of the day, that's what's going to bring you in the door. It's also the most understandable message. So marketing the intent to someone who has intent is actually quite impactful. Um, Over time, we will expand above and beyond that and start telling kind of the company or the whole sort of brand story. But for now, bringing users in and then explaining that once they're in the door and they love the products and they already have the app on their phone, that's the moment at which we talk a little bit more broadly about what super.com is.
Got it. So it's Damyan. Damyan. I apologize, my friend. Damyan. All right. And Aravind, can you share anything about retention for your app?
So I can't share sort of the private metrics, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Sure.
But what I can say is something that you may or may not find interesting. I hope you find it interesting. So though we have a super app that has all these different products, right? The ability to save money on travel, the ability to save money on everything you use the card for, the ability to earn money, cash advance, whatever. We don't expect people to use every one of those products. That's not our goal. We expect people to use 2+, and that's really important to us. And over time, we want that number to grow. But
Mm.
if we offer 7 or 8 kind of opportunities to earn money, save money, and build credit, we don't even have the goal that people will use all 8 within a month. We want people to get the value they're looking for in the moment.
I like it. Can we talk about traffic sources and how are you acquiring these users, especially since you have so many different products from, yeah, how do you go about like figuring out which ones? Because I hear this from a lot of clients too, Radhika. It's like, this is what we got. And they have all these features. And I'm like, I don't know who to target because it's almost everybody, right? And then if you're trying to be like something to everyone, you're like, I forgot what the saying is, but you're nothing to
Yeah,
no
yeah,
one, something like that.
you're nothing to anyone, or you don't do anything well if you're trying to do
Right.
anything well,
So
right?
how
Like,
do you guys go about like you're getting users into the door?
yeah, so I'll say that this again all comes down to the intent. If you can understand what the intent is of your user for a particular portion of the super app, whether it's travel, whether it's cash advance, whether it's the pay card, if you can understand when consumers have that intent to purchase that product and what
Yep.
channels they use in that moment, that's how we think about kind of acquiring users and bringing them into the super.com ecosystem.
Okay.
So as an example, the consumer behavior of someone booking travel is, you go to Google's search engine response page and you say,
Right.
best hotel, New York City.
Yeah.
And up pops either paid search advertisements or Google hotel ads, which are those like listings on Google of various
Yeah.
hotels that meet the
You
criteria.
can do it. That's it.
And exactly. Let's see what pops up.
Yeah. Well, see.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So you got Google Hotel Ads, right?
Right.
That's like the top bucket with the pictures and the map. And then you have paid search. And
Mm,
this is consumer behavior, right? This is how people book travel. And we're not in the business of changing the consumer behavior. We're in the business of making sure that we show up as part of the consumer behavior. And so that's how we know that these are the channels we should focus on. We literally think about what's the customer journey. That's why that going back to that, like using your own product is really helpful, and using it end to end from awareness through usage of the digital product, through usage of the physical product, through the operations piece. That's how we know. We think about the customer journey and think about where are the channels in which the consumer has intent for the product, and then we go and do that. And we go and we advertise in those channels. There's a similar thing for think about our pay card, for example. Well, where do people go to learn about credit cards or charge cards? Well, we go to like the Points Guy or other card affiliates like that, right? NerdWallet.
mm-hmm.
So it's again thinking about how do people learn about these things and being present in those channels. And then,
Love it.
by the way, a lot of testing and a lot of trying to figure out, like, is it working, is it not, and being okay to abandon the things that aren't working.
Yeah. I have to get used to that and try to get to that point because I always want it to be effective from the jump. So I'm always like, what is the most effective channel? Let's go start with that. And a lot of times you got to test.
I was a management consultant for the first 6 years of my career, and there was like a saying: you have to be willing to kill your own like pieces of work.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's like very common as a management consultant. You stay up all night like doing something, and then the partner or the client is like, never mind, I don't want this, or I don't want to do the meeting. And like you really like had to be okay with that. This is the same thing. You have to go in knowing that you're looking for what works, but not be, from a performance marketing perspective, not be super attached to any one thing. And then when it works, then you get attached, and then you scale it, and then you throw all your energy and effort behind it. But wait till it works.
Yeah, I like it. I like how people are just teaching me how to say your name properly too. Radhika.
Hey, listen, I think it's fine.
Okay.
I appreciate that, Arvin. I literally respond to anything.
Yeah, at a certain point, you're like, fudge it. It's a waste of time trying to like get it. Miguel says, hey, let's have a spooky show. Miguel, I was gonna dress up, but I thought I was trying to be more appropriate here. Elon thinks he's making Twitter a super app then named it X. That's what Mary says. Okay, we do have an ASO question from Ori. ASO question: why does an app without ratings and without the keyword in its title rank higher than an app with ratings and the keyword in its title? So, do you have any insight on this?
So I wouldn't say I have insight on this particular question, or if it pertains to super.com or not. I can't tell from Ori's question. But what I will say is ASO is a focus of ours, kind of probably, I think, going forward. I'd say we're going to pick it up in earnest in Q1. And it's really interesting, right? We started out as a travel company. We realized that then we had this great charge card that we could offer. Now we have all these earnings and savings opportunities. So it's really interesting. What we're trying to figure out is what is the right messaging? What is the right creative? What are the right keywords to rank for? Because we have all these products. I have a hypothesis, a really strong hypothesis that I'm not disclosing here. And we are prioritizing from a capacity perspective. And as soon as we get that minute, I'm hoping that we prove that hypothesis right, but I am not going to be upset if we disprove it. What I will say is we've spent a lot of time and energy and effort thinking about the creative and A/B testing the creative that you see there, and we'll continue to do that. But we have a ways to go on ASO.
Yeah, I like it.
By the way, that's startup life, and that's
Ori, I think and I'm laughing because Arvind is just like he's trolling me. But so Ori, what I would say is sometimes they're running like intent campaigns, keyword install campaigns. So think about that. Like a lot of times what I've seen is if the keyword is low competition, and we were able to do this running some magic too, but we had the keyword in the subtitle. We're able to get to number one because it's low competition enough. And with a little bit of intent traffic, you can get it to number one, despite like one app ranking, having more ratings or still having the title when all things are equal. I feel like we can get any app into the top, let's say 10, any keyword into the top 10, depending on difficulty. But then once you get top 10, it becomes a little bit more difficult. So if the keyword has low difficulty, I can probably get it up into the number one with some campaigns too. That could be what's happening.
I think what's interesting too, though, is like it's if the keyword has low difficulty. I think the spaces we're in, cash advance, right? Like giving you money or travel or building credit. Lots of these aren't low difficulty spaces.
Yeah.
So really spending time, energy, and effort to figure this out is a key priority for us. But I'd say, one step at a time.
Yeah. We had one client who was ranking really well for like big terms, and their ASO wasn't that great because they were running so much UA. And as long as the keyword was in their title, they were ranking number 2 for that really competitive, really popular keyword because they were running a lot of user acquisition. And if you looked at their keyword, their subtitle wasn't very much optimized. It was all branding. And if you looked at their keyword field, it was just like random names and just didn't matter. And I was like, look, it shows you just sometimes it doesn't matter. If you're running so much user acquisition, it really won't matter as much.
Yeah. I also think this goes back a little bit to the conversation of should you be running user acquisition in the App Store, or should you be letting people choose the way that they want to experience your product and use your own channels to acquire users through for your app? Like that's still the bulk of our strategy for app acquisition is we're letting you, if you are self-selecting to go to the App Store to use the app, to download the app because we've proven value in some other channel, great. But if not, we're letting you use the website. And I think that's just, there's a reality that there's a right time and a right place to get users to download the app, and paying works in some industries, like paying people to download first and then use. We're taking the other strategy, which is prove value, then ask you to download.
Yep. And like, I mean, maybe you guys did this too, but sometimes I hear ideas and I'm like, you could probably prove that model out on the web, which would be a lot easier than trying to build an app and forcing people to go through the app and do everything else. Like, take them to the web, like prove out your model on the web. It's easier to build.
Yeah. And I wonder if that matters, like industry by industry. So for example, like I use Forward Health for myself and One Medical for my daughter. Those are app first companies, right? You can do nothing almost on the web. One Medical might be improving on the web because it's now part of Amazon, but if that's the strategy they've taken on day one because their product lends itself to that, like that makes sense. Our product is usable in both platforms, and so we want the user to choose.
Yeah, I like it. Nurek says, Steve, indexation. I'm having a hard time talking today. Of keywords on App Store, how long does it take for a keyword to be indexed? Pretty soon. I don't think it needs that much. Long as, again, if it's super high competition, then you might take a little bit longer. But if it's a low difficulty type of keyword, it won't take much. You'll see it right on immediate impact. And we even saw it one of our clients. We moved certain keywords to the title, and then we went from like ranking 40 to like 10 just by moving the title. So it was pretty quick. And I knew that the keyword had traffic and low difficulty. So we were able to move it pretty quickly there. So yeah. All right. Now, like in my head, Radhika, anything I might have missed that you want to cover before we get into the app audit side of the things?
Love it.
Actually, you know what? I did want to ask you this. When you were talking about eating your own dog food, why not get some random people to use your app? People, people do, what do they do? There's focus groups. They do focus groups. So why not do a focus group instead of like forcing your employees to do this? Forcing them. Yeah, I said forcing.
No, so we do. So what I mentioned before is we do two kinds of research. Number one, we do market research, which is often with random folks who do not use our product, but who are in our design target. Okay. And we do show them screens of the product, ask them how they feel. This is particularly helpful as we're designing or developing marketing or product copy or things like that. We also do user research. So we have a wonderful user research team that does exactly what you're talking about. They take existing users of the product and they test various things. They ask that group various questions. So we do this both with existing users as well as sort of folks that could be customers, but may not be today.
I see. I love it. Okay, cool. Let's get into the app audit side of our show. And we like to start off every app audit with some dad jokes. All right, Radhika, do you want to start first, or do you want me to go first? Do you have any dad jokes, by the way?
I don't have any dad jokes. Come on. I'm very eager for yours, though.
Okay. All right. I've got that ready to go. So I'm sure some of you guys have dad jokes of your own. So if you want to battle me, let me know. I got a dad joke here. Why don't monsters eat ghosts? Yeah, why don't monsters eat ghosts? They taste like sheet. There you go.
I was
All
hoping
right.
that was a joke I could like tell my daughter since it's Halloween, but
No,
I
no,
don't
that's not a good one.
know. I don't think so. She's 3. I don't no.
All right. Well, we got a Zaz, I think. Zaz Zap. He's got this app here, installs an eCPM. So he wants more installs. And if you want one more plug, if you want us to take a look at your app in a future live stream, just go to appmasters.com/audit. Okay. Any insights for Azaz? AZ. So I think that's Azaz. But like any insights for him to get more installs? You have
Steve, are you asking me or are you asking the
Yeah, I'm
audience?
asking you. I'm not asking him. Sorry.
just to be clear. Okay, so right now you're showing us the Google Play Store.
Yeah, this is his app.
Yeah, so I think the first thing I would just want to know is more about what the company does, and is there a way to showcase that more prominently up front? I think that tends to be really important. It'll also be interesting to know who they're targeting. For the ramp car stunt GT racing, I'm clearly not their target customer. But for someone who is, does someone know what that is? Is that is that a reason to download an app?
Right.
So I think really understanding who the target customer is, what their intent is at the moment in which they see this, which we've been talking a lot about, and then being real clear about what does the company do and what does the product do.
Yeah, I like it. And what I would say is like with games, sometimes you need an ad based user acquisition channel, meaning like you have to pay for downloads, especially if you're going to be on Android. What I would try to do is run some Google app install campaigns to get some more downloads. I just think with ASO, if you're trying to look for free traffic, like unless it's like car games or car racing games, it's going to be harder for you to rank for these keywords given there's a ton of like apps already out there. So I like to do like what I like to do, and you might get some trademark infringement, but like try to find something like a keyword or a type of car that may not have an app, right? Like when people are searching for it, like so maybe Porsche or Jaguar, things like that, and then try to leverage that brand for your ASO because they tend to have traffic and very little competition. And then A/B test your icon. I think icons are super important on Google Play versus iOS. And if you can, as you can see, a lot of I see the back of the car, but if I'm looking up, just say car racing games, I see like the front of the car and the coolness of a car versus just like it's like going away, your icon. And so I would try to A/B test that as much as possible. And maybe if you have stunt in the title, like maybe show a car doing a stunt versus just like driving right here.
Steve, I think the other thing is,
Yeah,
full disclosure, go up, scroll up again.
sure.
If I'm only looking at the hero image, I'm going to be like fully honest. What I actually thought this was a real life thing, not a game. I didn't realize that until I looked down. I'm like, oh, Formula One, something cool to do with stunts and cars. So I think with all of the hype around in-person real life car racing,
Right.
making it like using like non-illustrated, non-game looking creative as a header actually may not work in your favor. Because if you go back to sort of all the other, when you were searching for games, looks like a lot of the icons and a lot of the creative actually looks like a video game, and you can see that and tell that. Here, I couldn't see that and tell that.
Right. That's a good insight. It does look like a real car. Yeah, I like it. What I would also say is because you had mega car or mega ramp, kind of look at the keywords that are autofill. So here, let me pull up everything here, move some things around. So here I see mega ramp and I see mega ramp game. Oops, mega ramp car jumping. So that might be a better keyword to go after versus mega ramp car. What do you have? Stunt. So which is lower in the down here, but that's what I would start thinking about. And then if people are looking for car jump, show car jumping. There you go. Let's get into the game a little bit. We got some jokes. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna pick Mary. Okay, Sam's got a joke. Radhika, how can a kangaroo jump higher than our house?
I don't know. I'm gonna say, oh,
A house can't jump. There you go.
that's worthy of my daughter. I'll take that one.
Okay. We got another one if you want another. What do you get when you cross a vampire and a snowman?
Ooh, do tell.
A frostbite. There you go. All right, now let's get into it. Uh, I can't play anything yet. It's just going. So I don't know where the start is. All I see is an ad and the car is going. How do I play this game? Oh, it's a video ad. Man. Okay. Look, I have no data on this. What I do have data on is you probably don't want to show me a video ad right on first open. There's a thing called app open ads that you might want to deploy after the first open, but definitely not on the first open. I wouldn't do it if I were you. What we have seen work really well if you're trying to make money on the first open is give users a bonus. I have 0 coins. Give me 20 coins or something. Give me some coins. And then allow me like, welcome, here's some bonus coins for you to get started. Cool, thank you. And then that next screen would be like, you want to double it and watch a video? Sure, most people will do that, or a good portion of your users will do that. And that's a way to still show me a video ad, but like not force it. We have seen that work for other clients. But yeah, like right here, you're already giving away free coins. Oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. Let's go back. Okay, I'm going to assume the gameplay is good. So I'm going to stop on this just for our time's sake. Cool. Let's get into the next app, Radhika, a little bit. I have to slow it down, right? It's Radhika. All right.
My parents would be so happy if they hear you pronounce my name.
Who will be happy?
My parents.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. Marwan's got this app, Wise Budget. He did put in here, he just wants us to focus more on the ASO side of things. We got more jokes down here. I love it.
Oh, I thought he was saying like no more jokes, just like
yeah, that's probably what he's saying too. We're just here for the jokes.
Okay.
Oh, he says, I may not be able to watch live, but I would appreciate you focus more on how to increase the number of downloads for the Wise Budget app. I mean, ASO. Okay, cool. Anything that you can see on this end? Here's the App Store presence.
I'm trying to read. So I'll say the one thing is I'm like, this is relatively large on my screen and I'm literally like leaning forward trying to read it. Part of that is because I'm blind. It's not easy. Part of what I'm getting at is the creative is like
this one
colored. So like Wise Budget is right. Like
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that might just be part of it. Think about how clear you can be so someone can read this fast.
Yeah.
I think budgeting and spending easily know your trending spending. Oh, trending spending, it rhymes. I think that there's a question in my mind on what can you say here that is truly differentiated from all of the other budgeting apps out there. I wonder if we went to like Mint and a couple of others, if they would say something very similar. And also quite frankly, like your bank apps. So like all of your bank apps, Chase, Bank of America, et cetera, they all offer this type of tool. So why this thing?
Yeah.
I think that's a really critical thing we have to convince people of from the get-go, ideally in the first screen.
Yeah, I like it.
Actually, this is like interesting to look at, right? So far fewer words. Look at this, right? Like just what do they do in like 8 words? And larger images. The 2-screen image, I think, is like really popular right now. You can see, I believe we have the same thing. It tends to perform really well. Yeah, there you go.
I like it.
There's a little of that.
Yeah, I agree with you on a lot of these things. Sorry, did you have anything else you wanted to add on?
No,
there?
You go ahead.
Yeah, no. So here's what we found. Like lead with whatever you're trying to target, whatever keyword. So if it's budgeting, right, there it is. Budget. And you guys have this save and earn all in one place, right? Like it is the main thing that people are searching for. And if that's what you're trying to rank for, show it. Have some social proof. right? You see all the Trust Pilot, download for free, save 50%. Let's go to Mint. Well, Mint's a little bit different. But we have seen that social proof. And I love what you said, Radhika, is the what makes you different, right? That's how I like to do it. First screen, show them what they're searching for. And they're like, oh, I get it. This is what you do. Make sure they trust you by showing some social proof, and then surprise them like, oh, you didn't expect this, or this is what makes us different. This is what I was seeing in the market that wasn't there, and have that as a first three, because the first three are shown in the search results. So I feel like they're the most important for you to really try to optimize.
Yeah, I think that is really the crux. What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Make sure a customer knows that within like the 1 to 2 seconds. Something you said about social proof, I think, is really interesting. It's even more important for companies like ours, like super.com, but I'm assuming for Wise Budget as well. For someone like Mint, people kind of know what Mint is. They kind of trust it. It's been around longer. It's got a great brand, or rather, it's got great brand recognition, right? So people know what it is. I think the social proof is less relevant for them potentially because it's well trusted and really important for a company like ours, and maybe for Wise Budget as well.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So what I would also do is, obviously, let's look at it. And I'm going to assume, Marwan, that you've already optimized Spanish Mexico. Okay. So he's optimizing the Spanish Mexico localization and having different keywords and different titles. That works out. I think from an ASO standpoint, look, here's what I feel. You're going to really have to do a lot of keyword research. You have a lot of great reviews, 1,000 plus. So do a lot of keyword research. If you're not ranking well for any good keywords, then think about changing it. My philosophy in building apps, and this is what we're doing with all our apps, is just going all in on the primary keyword, on the niche keyword. As long as there's about 30 plus traffic score, going all in on that keyword, and then like not even caring about the brand. So I'm just kind of like going into whatever the keyword is. So if this is going to be budget app, I would just call it budget app, because then, it sort of helps with SEO as well, given that there's keyword volume. My past guest a couple of weeks ago, podcast app from Martin. So it helps with SEO, helps with ASO, helps with all that stuff. And so if you're purely trying to play the ASO game, find the keyword that you really want to rank for, and then just go all in on that keyword. But you can see budget or budgeting, pretty big competitors out here that you're trying to deal with. So I like to try to, maybe it's Money Counter because you have it in the Spanish Mexico title. Maybe you move that to the US title instead of going after budget or track spending.
So yeah, and I think something you just said, Steve, is really important. It goes back to what your goal is. Like if your goal is use the App Store as a channel to drive downloads only, not as a billboard for what your brand and product is, then optimize your ad or your presence there for that goal. And that's actually one of the things we're thinking about as well. If the App Store is simply a channel to drive downloads, what our creative looks like, what it says, that's going to be really different than if right now what we're doing is we're much more holistic. We talk about super.com as a whole. That may change, and that may change quickly. But I think it goes back to what is the goal of the placement in the App Store, and what are you trying to accomplish, and then making sure that every effort you put into that really lines up to the outcome of that goal.
I love it. I love it.
And by the way, it's very hard to do all things, right? This is what we were talking about before. So it is okay if you sacrifice your brand name, if you don't, say the name and the keyword, for example, because that's not what's going to drive the outcome.
Yeah. Like, I was trying to find track spending as 21. So you want to try to find some things that are more in the 30 range. And I know these might be super competitive budget tracker, but what I've also noticed too is if you, here, let me pull up my phone for you guys. If you lead with the main keyword that you want to target, you can start showing up in the autofill results. So if I were calling it, budget tracker, then just showing up on here does drive downloads. So now there's budget, the car rental. Let's see, budget app. Is that a car rental? Nope, that's good. What if I put budget? Oh, wow. Yeah. Sorry, budget car rental. That's interesting. Okay, so budget might be good, but here, like you start showing up, and one of right here, like Money Coach. Okay, that's not showing up. It does drive downloads, so that will be helpful for you, Marwan.
But that also just indicates how competitive the word budget is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and by the way, very different industries.
Yep. Yeah, we launched an app and we were able to rank it pretty, just show up in the autofill suggestions pretty quickly, just like because it's low competition, it had traffic. And so if track spending is your thing, track spending, just lead with it. And let's see. Oh, rise budget. So you do show up here. There you go. Boom.
Here we go.
Good job, Marwan. All right, let's get into the app real quick.
Love it.
Okay. Stats, multi-account currencies. I like it. Manage your debt. Let's start.
I wonder how interesting multi-account currency is to people and how unique that could be. That's unique, but I don't.
That's better than what he has on the search screenshot currently.
Yeah, it depends if that's interesting to his customer.
Right.
But if it is, that I think that's unique based on limited knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying things that I would expect from a budget app anyways. So like show me something that I wouldn't expect. Right. It's my philosophy. Right. Oh, what am I doing? Guess using a spreadsheet. All of the above. Entertainment. Which feature would you? Oh, I like that. Which feature would you like to see next? Ah, that's kind of nice. Cool. Yeah, I like that.
Like choose your own adventure.
Mm-hmm. What's IQD? I don't know what currency that is.
No understanding. I see US dollars.
I see a bunch of US, but I'm like, I don't know which one to pick.
Actually.
Which one?
See USD. It's like halfway down the ski. Yep, below BDF.
Yeah, there's USD right here. Oh, right here. This one. Okay.
There we go. It's a challenge when we don't know which currency to choose.
I know. Okay, and then he has the paywall. Okay. Anything on the paywall that you want to? I'm on an older iPhone, so just keep that in mind.
I think one thing is like, what is the difference between these, right? So why would I pick one versus the other? Save 37%, save 20. Like, I think that's interesting. So the order must be optimized for a reason, right? They must do 1, 12, 6 for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if the save should be in a different color because I like didn't see why one versus the other for a while. I wonder about the order too. There's got to be logic to that. Like someone, I'm sure, very much thought about that.
I don't mind it. I've been saying that, like I like to have three plans have the highest conversion rates, and then
pick the middle one usually.
Yeah, typically you're gonna want to pick the middle one. I would try to jack up the monthly one. I'm testing one of our apps. We're starting to finally make money with this app, but like I'm trying monthly, lifetime, and yearly. And then right now I've made the lifetime and yearly pretty much very similar in pricing. It's like $10, but $8 for the yearly, $10 for lifetime, and then $8 for yearly. And I wanted to test that. And we are finding most people buying the lifetime, but then we are finding that some people are buying the monthly, which I'm like, why? Like, don't, So I would jack up the monthly. And then one of the interesting tests I want to run in the future is where the monthly price, I saw this in the Zero app, that video is going to come out soon, but where their monthly was like the first month was $3.99 and it renews at the yearly price. And I thought that was an interesting way of doing it. So I want to test that strategy as well. But everything else, like, I've been saying for a while, long paywalls perform better. And he does have this too.
I don't really, like, this is just me as a consumer. Like, what does go unlimited mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would say like start free trial or continue or get started. But go unlimited.
Something that I can understand.
But I do notice that this Marwan, having trials does increase sales and conversions. Ultimately, you're going to end up making more money with trials. For most of the apps that we work with, trials does end up getting you in more money. So think about having a trial and the way I've been doing it only on the plan that you want people to be on. So if it's going to be yearly, then just put the 7-day, 3-day trial on the yearly, and no other plan has a trial. So you get money right then and there. Okay, that's it on my end. Cool. Ori says, Radhika, I am in the middle of creating a landing page for my app. Hope it works.
It will, Ori. We have faith in you.
And then, why do skeletons have low self-esteem? I like this one a lot. This one's a winner.
I need some help.
They have nobody to love. All right. Ori says, I've been struggling with ASO for a long time. Low organic. I'm pretty sure I've tried everything. What would you suggest? Ori, I'm doing an ASO workshop. It is really hard. The only thing I would say is keep working on it, man. You just have to do a lot of keyword research and find the right keyword.
I think
So
it's the time, right? Like this is different than like a paid search campaign where you have like a 7-day testing window. This takes time.
Yeah, you need to know a little bit of the tricks out there. But here, dude, I'll just show you this, Ori. It's one of our apps. Look, it's not a lot of money, but I'm pretty proud of it because as you can see, it was making, and I can pull back a lot more, but it was making no money. And then one ASO change, it's finally making money. And so we should hit above 1,000 for the month of October, but like it's finally hitting. So keep at it, bro. And I didn't change anything but the ASO. No new features, no nothing. Just the ASO did the things that we do, and then we were able to finally get it going. So that's the hard part, finding the right keywords, because everything is pretty much, taken. All right. Let's see. All right. For ASO, does Apple give more weight to either number of reviews or ratings, or all the same? What have you experienced?
No, go ahead.
I don't think so. I think it really depends on the keyword. I think eventually, if all things are equal, I don't think ratings are going to tip the scale. For one of our apps, we rank better, even though we both have it in the title and it's the leftmost on the title. We rank better for this keyword versus the competitor, just because I know a little bit more probably than the competitor. So like, I don't think it matters as much as you might think, the ratings. It's just, it maybe keeps you higher, right? Like if you can get to the top, it keeps you there. It won't get you to the top though. So that's the way I feel about it. Okay. I think I am good. 1 month, 1 year, 1 week has the best conversion rates in that order. I actually agree with that. I think that's how I would do it. It's 1 month, 1 year, 1 week would be the way to do it. And whereas the month becomes the decoy and people will select either the yearly plan or the cheapest plan, which is going to be the week, and the week has a higher LTV than the month. So that's how we've been doing it recently, 5 Live too, with our new apps.
I just learned something.
All right, cool. Marwan said, thank you to Steve and Radhika. You gave me some good tips. And then Steve always flexing that graph. Yeah, well, I mean, come on, I'm proud of it, man. Okay, cool. Radhika, anything I missed that you want to make sure we cover before we say goodbye?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for making time for me. And thank you for the wonderful dad jokes, some of which I can now go and tell my daughter and look like a hero and look like someone who's funny, even though I'm not. And I just appreciate the time.
That's awesome. So go check out super.com if you want to save some money, get a cash advance, or book a travel event. Super.com it is. That's the website. And then go to Super. If you just search for Super on your favorite app store, you'll find super.com as well. And Radhika, if the audience wants to connect with you in any other way, do you want to send them anywhere else?
Yeah, they can just head to my LinkedIn and send me a DM, and I'm pretty active there. So I'll be happy to respond.
Well, that is linked up into your favorite podcast app if you're listening to the audio version, and the YouTube description as well. And you can say thank you to Radhika for all the insights she provided. Next week, we're going to have Charlie from Revenue Cat on to break down all the paywalls, all subscription revenues. He is an indie app developer as well, along with being a developer advocate for Revenue Cat. So we're going to break down like what are the metrics you should be looking for, what type of paywall styles are working well, all that. Every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. Stay tuned on this very channel. Radhika, thank you so much for coming on and doing this. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye. Have a good weekend.
Bye.